So, how is everyone doing tonight? I think that's working. Oh, I was so as you can probably tell, one of my eyes has been slightly annoyed today, and I thought I'd fix it before stream. I had not fixed it before stream. Hopefully that will go away as stream continues. Oh, audio's a bit loud. There we go. That's a bit loud for me still. Bring it down. There we go. So hopefully that's a little bit more of a sensible level for the audio. How is everyone doing? Oh, that is cool. My glass disappears. Oh, that is weird. Refraction of the green screen behind me, which you can't see because it turns out that is too far to the... Cool, I now have a hand again, that's good. Whew, things are good, work is busy, as you can guess. So I'm finally feeling, I'm really getting some traction on what I'm doing and getting into the work itself, which is really good given I'm 4 months in. But there's suddenly a lot more demand on my time, which is predictable, and again, that's kind of a positive. Dogecoin, so I keep saying this every stream, and I'm still kind of just waiting for someone to say, yeah, that looks good, let's ship it. So that's kind of my position at the moment, and that's why it's so hard to tell you when it's going out, because like they could say tomorrow, looks good, let's ship it, or it could be November, and I don't know which way they will set that. I keep pushing code out, I deal with the tests when I'm asked to, but I don't get to set the release schedule. But I do want to talk out the release schedule and jump through, like, here's what's in the to-do list, and like we're triaging that list and going, okay, this looks like it needs to be in, this, yeah, it's probably less critical, this is important but can go into a later release, and that's kind of happening. So you guys are over there, so let me pull you over so you're not glancing over to the side every time. Cool, how's it going? Excited community, what happened to your eye? So my eye has been really aggravated all day. Now I know what this is. It's a thing that I have stuff for, and normally I would keep it in my bag when I go to work. I did not today, so it's been just gently annoying itself all day. The underlying cause is hopefully now fixed, and it will improve through stream. But yes, unfortunately it looked kind of awkward. I then also added, so I use topical caffeine to try looking less tired, given it's 7:30 at night. I think that made it much worse. This is where being good with makeup would really help me. But yeah, it should improve through stream. It's just a bit aggravated. Oh, McDonald's for Dogecoin. Interesting. Yeah, not technically allergies, but again, if you think of it as close enough to allergies, it's going to be easier than me explaining what's actually happening. Which is why I'm avoiding it. Like, I don't want to spend 15 minutes on my eye. I will be fine. I do actually need to see optician for something else. I'll get them to double check at the time, but there's nothing new. Nothing new. It's been like this for a decade. Yeah, I mean, basically I rubbed it. It also is why it's aggravated, because it annoyed me, so I rubbed it and now it looks like this. So, yeah, let's talk release process. I've got a VM. I've actually got the VM up. That's good. Cool. There we go. If I actually put... Oh, that's great. If what I can do is I can layer the windows so you guys are right behind the other window, and then I can see chat without having to glance over to the side. Awesome. I have now lost OBS. Great. Right. I'm having some problems getting the right crediting for content up, so I've switched back to Monstercat. They do say allow 48 hours to be whitelisted, and I gave them 5 minutes, so that's going to be exciting. I may be off YouTube by Friday. Hopefully not. But yeah, so this is Monstercat Silk. I do have a license for them. I just need to actually whitelist myself 2 days ago, not today. Oops. You'll be fine. Anyway, that is not a VM you can see. There we go. VM. Cool. Electric allergies. Yeah, roasting. I mean, basically what I did actually to solve the underlying cause is broadly speaking a slightly more professional version of a cucumber. Unfortunately, it also involves. So basically, the okay, I have to clearly explain this, and then you guys will have to explain to anyone else who comes in. So, my eye builds up too much sand, and then needs to be cleaned out. So I have wipes that let me clean it out. That's fine. But because I left the wipes at home, so I couldn't do anything during the day, so it's been aggravating itself. Got home, clean it up, but it's now just calming back down again from that. Also, this light's actually quite bright. I'm going to turn that a little bit down. There we go. Right, so that's a terminal. We want to look at. Right, so we have project boards which sort of capture what's currently going on. And this is the one for 1.14.5. So there's a whole bunch of, so there's a lot of things in here that are kind of in a weird state. So we've got 8 in progress, that's crazy, 6 in reviews in progress, 2 approved, but waiting to actually be merged. I don't know why that hasn't actually been merged yet. But this is kind of the thing, is we need to, so a lot of these interact with each other. So for example, that one, so this one here, 2595, is actually a replacement for 2365. So a lot of these sort of boil down, but this is what we look at. Let me actually link you to this so you can have a look. So I hope not all of this needs to actually be done before 1.14.5 ships, but it gives you a behind the scenes look at what we have on the 1.14.5 list. So we need to decide everything on here is either done or not going to be done, and then it ships is the broadly where it fits in. And you can see things like, well, that should have, I thought that went in. So that, again, some of these need cleaning up. Like some of them are in the wrong state for where they actually are. There's the release notes. We've got random, we've got documentation we need to think of doing. But yeah, I will cover a lot of these in a second. This has been approved by Mitchie, so that can go in. I just need to double check it hasn't been anything since I last pushed it. Need to get in check. Help wanted. Great. Command, if you're in chat, thank you. Your testing actually got signed up through approval. So that's going in. Merging and 2338, you say? And then someone's talking about Dogecoin? Okay. We get a lot of random messages. We don't know quite where they come from or where they're going. Oh, I think 2338 was the right one. It just, I want to get the original author to actually close it. that's meant to be in a different project. And I forgot to use Kanban. But this is a little bit behind the scenes. Oh. Well, I hope you get better soon, Andreas. And yeah, thank you for the help. Much appreciated. Right. Just sort of tidying these around because we want to... Come on. Okay, so that needs a reload before I actually update to the... Show me... the project. Options. 14.6. Take it off 114.5. There we go. Cool. So we've got a few of the reviews in progress out. Hang on. So Super Chat doesn't get enabled until I have 4,000 watched hours. So I can't yet. Keep watching and then it will get enabled in a bit. Hang on. Let me check my numbers on that. Oh, and I forgot to read the rest of that message. Oh, in fact, you're right there. So... Yep, so I need another 750 subscribers and 3,800 hours watched is the answer on Super Chat. So it's coming, but we're a little bit of a way away, unfortunately. But this is fine. Like, we knew this going into YouTube. Well, I knew this going to YouTube, that there'll be an adaptation period while everything, there's just going to be a period while everyone gets used to me being on YouTube and I can't make money for a little bit, and that's not the end of the world. The upside of having a day job is it gives me flexibility to do stuff. Right, so that was just clearing up the project board for 121. Just getting, so 114.5 and getting things under control. The next thing I want to do is go back to 121. Actually, something I've been doing is taking some of the old steps, and some of you may find this kind of interesting actually, some of the old code that's still in review, and what I've done is I've actually put this into my own repo. Hang on, you guys, you're here. Oh, I've lost chat. That's well exciting. How have I lost chat? How have I done that? So yeah, so 121. Actually, let me show you what the just branded version of this looks like, because it's. I think people haven't seen this in a while. Or grep brand. Thanks, Undead King Taz. King Taz. What happened to King Taz? Did something happen to King Taz? I'm a bit scared. So I'm just going to update this build and just show you what the branding looks like. So we've been going through a lot of this and making sure that we actually get things that haven't necessarily been done correctly the first time cleaned up. I'm trying to fix the font problem actually. So 121 has been using the wrong fonts, as you may have seen on the splash screen. I think I've got that fixed, so it now uses Comic New, although it doesn't use Comic MS, which is the conventional Comic Sans. So there is a bit of a look and feel change still, even if we're not trying for one. I configure with incompatibility. And I'm hoping someone might actually review some of the code I've been raising. Yep, no one's reviewed it. Thanks, guys. Oh, but I see a fail. That's interesting. So yeah, let's dig into this then. So I'd forgotten this had a failure. So this is a failure. You can see it's passed on most scenarios. This is a specific one where it's running a fuzzer over the code, and that's interesting because it suggests that some specific inputs can cause it to break, but that's very much a surprise. It is saying timed out, so I don't know if we have an actual problem or it just looks like a problem. Oh, there we go. Looking for the more detailed page link. That's just. Oh, I was going to say it's building in the background, but I'm just on the configure line. So just bringing up the details of the test, I want to find out if this is like an infrastructure problem and it's not an actual genuine failure, or we actually have a problem I need to worry about. I should point out, by the jokiness is in fact on my side, it's not the stream. Thanks, Roasting. Oh, I'm also realising I asked the foundation if there's any news I need to announce, and then forgot to actually check back for any news I can announce. So let's go see if there's any news. Okay, cool. Yeah, there's nothing I've been asked to announce today. That's good. Meetings are ongoing. There's some things I can hop in. I can talk about. So one of the big things we're doing is trying to get the legal status of the tip jar well established and the appropriate taxes paid. And once that is done, we can then spend it. But we don't want to start spending it, take on a potential unspecified tax burden, get sued by a major world government and go bankrupt. That would be bad. But we think from what the tax advisors have come back with a multi-page document on various options, how those structures would work, and how we can do this in a moderately efficient way. So it looks like we're going to go ahead with that. There's a meeting tomorrow to go into the details. There's a couple of questions we have, and that will then let us. So that's going to be get the right legal entity type set up. Once the legal entities are in place, we can get bank accounts for them. They can then have money. They can then pay employees. It's going to be amazing. Okay, so what's the actual error this is complaining about? So this is chain params CPP 553. Okay, so that should definitely never happen. So what this is saying is it's expecting global chain parameters to be set, and it looks like it's had some sort of race condition that's led to it not being set. But that specifically looks like it's actually in the test code, so it looks like the test code has failed rather than anything I can meaningfully engage with. Yeah, so it's trying to get the consensus parameters before they're initialized. So it's not, it's just, it looks like it's a race condition in the test code. If it happens repeatedly, I would dig more into this. But at this point in time, I think this is safe to just leave to rerun. Okay, if I can find the rerun button. Has that worked? Leo, I want to say yes on jurisdiction, but given it's like the fourth one we've said is definitely this one, I don't want to announce it because it seems like every time I do it just curses us. Andreas, I believe Leo's handle is in fact Leo. I think I'm following him, so it should be easier to find on Twitter. Doge Whisperer asks, how many employees will the tip jar be able to support? How do we ensure ongoing replenishment of the tip jar? That's actually pretty much in hand. Weirdly, we've had more problems spending money than getting it. Hey, Ebola Refru, good to see you. Good to have you here. So we've got various of the exchanges, obviously like one major sponsor that you can probably guess as well. Various people have said they will contribute into the tip jar. We've had a whole website say, oh, can we contribute? We had an NFT sale recently that raised, I believe, I was going to say, I think it was in the region of $60,000 US. So the tip jar, I know the initial setup, we're looking at 4 employees. I don't want to go too much into detail just in case that changes, because I don't want anyone to go, oh, it's definitely 4 and then it's end up 3 or 5. But I'm actually able to support that for multiple years. I don't understand the question, Bruno. Oh, okay, cool. I'll leave you to work on phrasing. So is that built yet? No, it's not building. Right. I don't think that's actually rerun. No. So what I'm going to do, given this doesn't seem to be rerunning that specific one when I ask it to, I'm going to close and then reopen the whole request, which will trigger the whole build process again. Or we'll ignore it. Is it just not going to do anything? Okay. Looks like the only way to actually get this to run is to I pushed something to it, presumably. Okay. So what I'm going to do is just push exactly the same code I had previously, but just by force pushing it, I'm forcing the whole system to start a rewrite run. And then let's have a look at 121, shall we? So I've been re-indexing an old blockchain, so it will be running late. But you can see this seems to be coming up as a Helvetica font, and I don't know why that is. Working on that problem. It used to be italicized, so at least it's not italicized anymore. That was super weird. This is coming up at least in Comic Sans, so some of this is working correctly. I'm not convinced this thin font is quite right, but I'm not convinced it's wrong either. I think because it's Comic New, it is right. It is just a little bit weird looking. Alarazar asks, have you thought about the idea of rewarding node runners? You said specifically Richards, but the idea comes up a lot. So people ask this a lot. It is difficult to prove someone is running a node runner. The node is actually running a node, and that makes it difficult to do this in the way that people think. Like they're doing it like a mining reward because it would be too easy to fake. That said, I know several people running projects to do fun little rewards for people running full nodes, and I think that's really valuable. So I know someone's sending out 69 Doge if you show them your node setup. I think that's cool. Now, when we looked at that in like 2014, the technology was quite early. I believe there are other blockchains that do a timed proof of knowledge to prove that you're running a full node. So what you would do is say, tell me something about block X, and you have like a half a second to respond to get a reward, is how that happens. And then, though, it basically has to be long enough that you can't go away and get it from a different site. So the block explorers will need to make sure that they are not responding fast enough to fake it. Or potentially, and it has to be not something that the asking node can use. So what you actually get back is a thing that says, oh, it's X, but it's encrypted. And everyone goes, okay, we had this at this point in time. And then later the originator reveals the key to show they had the knowledge at the right point in time, and therefore they get a reward. It's complicated. So there are principles of how that can work, but it is not a triviality. I think so one of the things I know keeps coming up is also proof of stake, and I actually was saying to the foundation, rather than saying we want to look at XYZ solution, we should probably much more blank slate it, go, it is now 2021, blockchain technology has moved on. If we were launching Dogecoin the way we envision it today, what would we launch? And then we make a path between what we have and where we want to be. We don't go, oh, we're going to edit this bit or that bit or tweak these things. We work out what we want to be. I think thinking about that whole reward system could be part of that. But that's kind of a much more open greenfield, what do we want to be kind of question. I'm glad for that. I presume that's because YouTube is probably running better at transcoding, I guess. Bruno asks, is the foundation alert and concerned about the fake Dogecoins that use the name of the main currency, like Dogecoin 2.0 and other cryptos? We are aware. We are concerned. That is definitely true. The problem we have, and you see this with Dogecoin 2.0, is if we say, hey, can you not do that, it actually gives the other cryptocurrency more credibility. And I have to be very careful what I say here because I don't want to yell. In about 30 seconds, I'm going to call for the lawyer saying, shut up. But we can make things much worse by trying to interfere. So the less we have to interfere with anything, the better. Because we don't want to give attention to these projects. Most of them just fizzle out and go away. Dogecoin 2.0 is, as I'm aware of it, at least the third Dogecoin 2.0. The other thing to be aware of is that we have the Dogecoin trademark. We do not currently have the Doge trademark. Someone else holds a trademark on Doge. So that's not something that we're working on, to the best of my knowledge. I say adding all the caveats because I don't know everything perfectly. There's legal experts who are dealing with this and may, again, as I said, maybe you have to call me and go, oi, what are you doing? Zaya asks, is there a way to calculate how many nodes need to be running to ensure smooth and fast transaction time for a company like Tesla decides to accept Doge? So we are probably in the right space right now for the number of nodes. Updating them is critical, and one of the big ways we can deal with having old nodes is to add new nodes. That's definitely helping. It's generally a more is more kind of question. We potentially also need to look at other technology approaches, such as making the blocks bigger, if we want to get true scalability. As I said, this goes back to sort of at some point, I think the Foundation technical team needs to sit down with like a week and a completely blank slate and go, if we wanted to make Dogecoin as we would dream of it today, with all the technology we now have, a decade after Bitcoin came out, what would that look like? And just do a massive rethink about it, and then draw a line between where we are and where we want to be, rather than worrying about the individual steps too much. RVP says, what is your take on the government regulating crypto? Which government? So I believe you mean the US government, on account of it is the one that is currently doing the most high profile regulation. This is complicated. So I think they are doing it badly, and I have a problem with that more than I have a problem with the concept. And I think that is a lot of my feeling on government regulation in finance. Is I don't have a problem with the idea that there would be some. I do, however, think it is often done badly, and that it, I would love to see some numbers, for example, on the effectiveness of KYC, of Know Your Customer / anti-money laundering regulation. How much does that help? Is it working effectively? Are we applying the right regulations to make things work? What can we do to find the ideal balance between making it hard to just be a business and ensuring that people are not, able to profit from various forms of illegal trade? The US government wants to call me, by the way. I'm sure they will find me. I would genuinely love to see these numbers. Like, I'm not just saying this. I would actually be interested. UK government, you're a bit closer. If you want to call me, sure you'll find me. I know with Bank of England, I actually go past you frequently, so let me know. Why does the Dogecoin account not give updates on various different companies? Partly legacy. So keep in mind, we are not. What can I actually say? We have not signed any agreements with these companies. Is a short version, and we've never historically done news of other companies through the main website. That may change. I don't know. Alarizera asks, can we have a dark mode on 121? Ooh, good question. Andrea says, please don't hard fork it, my tax guy would go crazy. Also, a very good point. Like, we had someone over the weekend going, I see this is not ideal, we should make this consensus breaking change to fix it. And it is kind of, every time, you know, we talk about these changes, we had to very carefully think about what that looks like. Roasting asks, is NFT on your list, Ross? Maybe second layer. So it's on my blank sheet of paper list. It's not on it. I mean, and again, it would just be like I want to just get everyone go together and like moonshot here, guys. Like, do we want NFTs? Do we want to just run the world? You know, let's just run the world economy. How do we do that? Do we want to buy a house with Dogecoin? Great, let's do that. Like, let's forget constraints. Like, let's work out what we want to do. I don't even know at this point, would NFTs be the biggest thing, but maybe, you know, maybe we want smart contracts, maybe we not want smart contracts. I don't know what that ideal looks like. I just want us to sit down and spend some time thinking about big picture, what's the ideal, and then you work that out. I should also point out, by the way, this is me talking as me. I need to go tell the foundation this. So the foundation may be finding this out from this stream. If you're on the call, by the way, foundation peeps, hi. Roasting the Rooster says, China is helping me make a lot of money. Every time there's China FUD, I go in all the deepest point. Here's a question. I see people, whenever the market crashes, go, oh, I bought the dip. Where do you all have spare cash from? Like, are you actually buying the dip and then selling the top? Is that secretly what's happening? Because I suspect that. Because I bought the dip 7 dips back and I'm still invested, guys. SM says, could you... I just don't want watching this code run, by the way. I should probably actually write some code at some point, but we seem to be having fun. Could you explain further on running a node? I want to, but for security reasons, I'm unsure whether or not I should. Could my computer be at risk if I run one? Ooh. The risk to your computer should be minimal. I can't say it's 0. The one thing I would say with running a node is that I do run it behind a VPN. Now, I do that because I run custom software. So if I ran these modified versions of Dogecoin on my own network connection, people might be able to figure out who I am and where my network is. That would be bad. But beyond that, I don't have any concerns running it. I can't tell you there's never been a security issue in Dogecoin Core, but I don't think it's a major risk. The only thing I would say is make sure you're updating frequently. Andrea says, what about Hammock Survival Brainstorm Week and the beautiful Black Forest trip with the Dogecoin Foundation members? We are talking about doing a Dogecoin conference, or Dogecoin developer, not conference, but sort of group meetup next year, and I get the impression there may be a bit of a break for us in there, yeah. Okay, yeah, so that's what's happening, is you're selling out at the top. Okay, and this is the thing, is I see people, you know, the market goes up and down, they go, oh, I bought, I've sold, I bought, I've sold, and here's me who hasn't traded since, like, June. And when I say traded in June, I don't mean like I was buying or selling a lot. I mean, you know, trivial amount. Full disclosure, I might buy like £100 worth of crypto this weekend. That's actually a very good point. So partly my finances are weird because my income stream happens primarily in 1 month. So I then, for the rest of the year, live functionally paycheck to paycheck. It's weird. And then all my money comes in 1 month. I invest it in that month. And then for the rest of the year, it's quite quiet. So I suppose that's part of it as well. Like, I don't have a lot of flex month to month. And I just invest in one big batch. Right. Anyway, so this is Dogecoin Core 121. I wanted to sort of show you, look, it's got a little smiley face. The font's actually come out right this time. We've just generally been cleaning a lot of the stuff up. So there were all sorts of things that weren't working correctly with this about language, that sort of thing. But it does work. And again, like you can actually, like if someone's really fast, you could actually go into a running node. You can do get peer info, and it will dump a list of who you connected to, and you can then look for my 121 node. It is out there. Actually, so a few are running 2 121 nodes, one of them full time, so you can find them. It's actually quite good fun. Let's look at some tests. Yeah, because that's the other thing roasting is, like I'm not going to say the only crypto I have is Doge. In the same way that like crypto is not all my investments. Yeah, I think it is kind of, I'm realizing if I wanted to trade, I would need to sort of sell some of the money I have invested and turn it into trading capital. Okay, but it's good to know just how that's working. Yeah, I'm actually doing a presentation at work tomorrow about fees, and talking about how basically your fees either have to be in the block. Well, the miners have infrastructure that needs to be paid for. The more money, proof of work is tricky. The more you pay, the more hardware tends to be used, and the harder it is to defeat the security. So there is a balancing point where you're paying enough to make sure it's secure. You don't want to pay too much because then you're actually just wasting work. But proof of work. But the cost of running that infrastructure can come from two places: the block reward or the fees. Bitcoin is heading towards the fee model. Makes sense for them. We're heading towards the block reward model, or keeping on the block reward model, where it's a constant inflation rate. It's actually another good point. Like people ask, what can we do to reduce the massive wallet holders? And the answer is, well, that's actually what the inflation rate partly will do. Is it should be reducing the value of their holding. So that's kind of how we erode how much is disproportionate. We can't fix it, but that's kind of one of the things it does as a side effect. Oh, Andreas, one of the top 12 is you. Awesome, congratulations. But actually is, wow, well done. I mean, I presume they're all companies, honestly. I do. I mean, I know a couple of them, but I think they're all companies in one form or another. Right, okay. So this is, I'm now hopping over to the latest sort of bleeding edge I was working on, and I'm going to have to recompile that. It's recompiling that, and then the idea is I'm going to jump into the tests on that. I'm going to take 30 seconds to get some more water. I'll be back in a second. Because this is Twitch, I can't run an advert. Probably for the best. Right, I'll be back. Ooh. So roasting says they're in favour of the. So I went to look at my eye in the mirror and went, oh, that looks much better. They come down the camera. Camera goes, no, you look terrible still. Thanks, camera. Anyway, roasting says they're in favour of adjusting inflation rates, which are decided by the foundation. It would be reviewed every year by the foundation and adjusted accordingly. I find that a little terrifying for how much control, how much power that would give us. And I think in particular, like, keep in mind, we've been historically existing in a very small niche where we don't run a cryptocurrency. We run a reference implementation for the cryptocurrency, but other people run it. And I wouldn't want to lose that. Well, I would not want to rush to lose that exemption case and make ourselves running the currency, because that has a lot of implications around responsibility for everything. And I think also we would want, like, it's meant to be a community coin. I've never been a big fan of running a decentralized autonomous organization or similar. But again, if there's actual funding coming in, maybe that's something we need to think of, and that would be where the inflation would come in, or be adjusted if needed. Yeah, that's the thing with, as Zeha says, exactly. And the other thing is, like, people look at cryptocurrencies that you can stake, and they might have 10-20% inflation rates, and people don't ask about those at all, or they're taking 10-20% out of a constantly decreasing pot, and no one asks what happens at the end. Like, this is the big thing, is like we get a bad rep because we're one of the first ones to have an issuance rate that was quite ongoing, but there's lots of others actually out there. So what's happening in the background here is just building up the Dogecoin 121. This is the latest version with all the fee logic tweaked and updating all the tests to then fix. Andreas, congratulations, I'm glad. Try not to die. I'm just double checking for any more messages I'm meant to be announcing, just in case. That all looks good, all looks good. Has anyone been playing any games recently? I saw Squid Games is on Netflix and everyone's raving about it, and I was a little bit, it looks a bit dark for me, but I hear really good things. Is anyone watching that? Squid Game, sorry. That's an interesting point, Roasting. Sometimes too much of a democracy destroys the functioning of a currency. Very true, very true. I worry about a couple of decentralized projects and whether their overall health. Like, people do often rush into the short term, and perhaps avoiding long term consequences. I'm going to rush quickly away from cryptocurrency and the minefield of things I could say there, and go to Brexit, where the country I'm currently in, 52% of us, myself excluded, decided to vote on something that's led to fuel, power, gas, and food shortages. Oh, and workforce. Although, to be fair, most of the other shortages do now involve workforce shortages as a key reason for why they happened. It's been great. Anyway, so I'm moving back to Canada, it looks like. Joking about Canada. I'm not moving to Canada. That's gonna be news tomorrow, isn't it? Cool, here we go, right. More broken. So this is where we were up to last time. So hopefully most of these actually now work, but I'm just going to write back through them, see what we have. Oh, Pantrix just responded to... Okay, it has failed, that's good. Well, that's expected, sorry. GitHub Dogecoin calls... No issues. 13. Okay, great. So we've got a fail case. And it looks actually like I've been halfway through debugging it, because that's an awful lot of output out there. Right, so... the estimation 108 it looks like. Is that right? For those of you who are aware, I'm not such a Python expert. I'm not going to lie about it. Predict's got keys. Okay, so it's keys to the bracket. I've seen the question in a second. I will take a look. Key. Okay, let's try not in. Larisa says, is it possible to try 0.01 Doge fee on Mac now? It should work. If you run, well, I don't know exactly, but I think try applications, Dogecoin app, contents. So, I know on a Mac you need to open a terminal. Try that. Andrea says, does your mum know what you're doing at the moment? Is that to me or the audience? My mother does not know what I'm doing at the moment, no. P. Williams says, what changes will 121 bring? 121 is basically a massive engineering overhaul. So most of what it does is behind the scenes cleanup, but it's faster, it's stabler, it brings us up to the engineering standards of just a lot of things that have been learned in 4 years. And it acts as a new baseline for the next few releases. In theory, it is what we would then use to enable segregated witness or potentially other things, but we need to just get it out first. Okay, so hopefully that's produced something a little bit more useful. Okay, so it's just telling me insufficient data or fee rate here. Okay. Now I want these values to match what I'm putting into Dogecoin Core 115. So the really super awkward thing is I haven't told my parents, but they work on Dogecoin. Well, my mother, because my father actually passed away a few years ago, but my mother. Because when I was doing it as a side project, it wasn't very exciting, and then it kind of just took off, and I didn't really know how to break the news to them at that point. So basically, my family doesn't know. It's a little weird. So it turns out the maximum fee rate we were modelling was probably wrong, and that may have been impacting this number. Actually, I need to check something else now. So Bitcoin Core uses a system for estimating smart fees where it creates a number of buckets, and it allocates transactions into those buckets based on their fee. So there's like a 0.0001 bucket and a 0.0001 bucket and a 001 bucket and a 01 bucket and a 1 bucket and so on. And then it determines within that bucket if it can find enough transactions that have passed, have been confirmed within the threshold I was looking at. And I think the numbers we had for the buckets were not quite right, and that's impacted the test. Yeah, Miles, I think that's basically it. Like, I didn't mention it because it was a minor thing I was doing in my free time, and then it wasn't. And at some point, there's just going to be an awkward conversation when I turn up on the news. So that's going to be weird. One day. Welcome to my world. I'm just going to quickly retweet this. I've got people there. So I want to make sure I'm getting... Okay, so that's one set of tests done. That's good. brilliant. Oh, I'm sorry, Andreas. That's sad. Okay, they managed to fixed a whole bunch of problems. That's nice. Well, that's cool. I mean, the music is coming off Monster Cat, so this, it says, is Constellation by AMR. I just basically fixed everything left, or I was just going to have all sorts of other things now broken. Oh, it takes about 60 seconds to run this one. Okay, so it's probably still testing. I mean, it's very common for music to be based on, music for movies to be licensed fully. Like, that's not an unusual step at all. Okay, so what's still broken, if anything? I mean, I like the bit where I've accidentally fixed basically everything, it looks like. Well, I'm going to be done then. That's it. It works. I mean, actually, seriously, like, this is the main thing I wanted to do tonight. If all of these pass, the next steps are all... Yeah, this is... I mean, what groups will be broken, right? If all of these pass, I need to run the entire batch again. And if that still passes, that takes out like an hour, and that's like a long running background job. And if that passes, then the next stages for 121 are just getting people to start reviewing everything in the heap. The paper wallet code needs looking at, and that's a bigger deal to merge in. Mr. S asks, what will be the biggest update for Dogecoin in coming days according to you? If you mean any update at all, I'm hoping the Foundation will announce news soon. Like, it'd be good to actually get a lot of the stuff we've been... Like, there's lots and lots of stuff going on in the background. There's lots of people constantly doing ops work. It's like, there's people functionally doing full-time work behind the scenes, so that there's stuff going on. But it's just really hard to actually get it nailed down that we can announce it, and it's frustrating. Okay, so I knew one of these would still fail me. Right, so that's interesting because it should be... So the number looks right, it's just this one, okay. Okay, so I'll explain what's going on in a second, just so you can understand what the heck I'm doing. But I don't know why it's still broken, which is awkward. So, it's actually an intro for this, yeah. So this test is looking to confirm that the maximum avoid partial spend fee is applied correctly. Now I got these two numbers, 2,700, 600, so this one. Is that the last one? Okay, so the last one only. There's a difference of 13600. That number there. So it should be applying that, and I don't know why it's not. I've also been asked not to use the address type of bet32, so might as well fix that while we're in here anyway. And then while that runs, I'm going to see if I can get some debugging code into this. Yeah, start.cp. Grab max APS. Start.cp. So what I'm doing here is adding in additional debugging so I can tell what's happened. And if that doesn't fix it, I don't know what's going on. Jared asks, does working on Dogecoin make you feel like you need to be more creative in order to advance utility and possibly do things that no other coin is currently trying to accomplish? I think someone should, and I think this is a very good point about when people go, oh Ross, aren't you going full time on Dogecoin? And it's kind of, I don't feel I have the right skill set that Dogecoin needs for what it needs to do next. Like I'm a developer. I can do up really well. I can, what I do for a day job works really well for me, but I'm not a CTO / CEO, which is the sort of leadership it needs, and I'm too middle management for what they need in a developer. But certainly I hope we have the right team that can bring that sort of that experience and that creativity and that sort of thinking through what's out there. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so that's interesting, because that suggests... Okay, so reload. Now, so that means it's 2 zeros over from where I thought it should be. So that does need to go down. And then we're going to... see if that gets through. I have to undo some of this, but I think if we get the numbers right, we can prove the basics all work, which will be good. Roasting the Rooster asks, Ross, which language do you think is best suited for a crypto to work as a crypto? If I was writing a new cryptocurrency today, as in the code that you compile and run, I would probably look at Rust. Now, I haven't done a lot of work in Rust, but I have experimented with it. It's a very promising language. I think that's very compelling. Okay, so that's good. So I've now got that down to a less stupid number. So I think we can pull that back out again. Yeah, I think, again, so what I'm really, I think me presenting sort of the visible face of Dogecoin works really well. And I think it really helps show people, yes, development is happening. But that doesn't mean there isn't things going on behind the scenes. This is why I can't tell you the release schedule, because other people define that. I input, I produce code for it, but I'm not the one that defines the schedule. And there we go with Justin's question. As I said, other people, I need other people to say, yes, this is what we're looking for. Let's ship it, and then it goes out. Is the short answer on that one. I would say, having worked in crypto in a number of languages, Java really didn't work out well. Let's never do that again. Well, technically, let's go with Java. Rust works well. C++ seems to work well. I'd be very curious to see how Go works, but my feeling is without generics, Go will be quite frustrating. We don't talk about the hat. The hat is definitely not the puppeteer here. Goodness no. Out of water. I am realizing I need to AFK quickly for something. I will be back in a second. Don't do anything drastic. No, I've just looked at the time and gone, oh no, I need to do something quickly for work before 9 o'clock. This is how organised I am today. This will not take long. Hang on, let me put the... That's just... Oh, it's booted, cool. Totally professional here. Cool. That's doing its own thing. I can leave that to its own stuff now. Okay. So what are the numbers on this? So DC. XP. Oops. Okay, so I'm trying to do is just trace this number down. I've kind of lost track of what I was doing, honestly. I once took down a major service for 3 hours. To be fair, I modified configuration in one system, was told look at this dashboard, which was green afterwards, so I did, and then went for lunch. And several hours later, a different system turned out to fail because they depended on our configuration, and we didn't know. Roasting, so we're still doing them. We're still doing Twitch on Sundays, so don't worry. I'm sure there's something more with Froggy soon. Okay, so this is line 114. 114? 114. Am I on the right line? What? Oh yeah, 114, there we go. So it is the first one, it's nodes 3, which is just configured to avoid partial spend. It doesn't have a specific amount it's avoiding. See, this is what confuses me. It's obviously deciding not to group them. So it's looking for this using grouped function. But what it's finding is it's using non-grouped, and I don't understand why. Okay, well, let's going to quickly do some stuff while that recompiles. Again, I'll be back in a second. Okay, we're properly back now. Okay, so this is give a bit more data, hopefully. Again, so I'm trying to find out what the actual number it's working with internally is, because the number that the numbers it's showing me don't make any sense. So we're looking for this fee grouped number. But my understanding is that's node 3 it's erroring on. So I'm even more confused. Yeah, so this is line 114, yeah. Send to address, node 0, get new address. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, it's node 4 because just avoid partial spend is node 0. Is node 2. Oh. So it starts at 0, so it's the 4th node, even if it's called 3. That's why. Okay. Yeah, that should fix it. So how you scale Rampage? I think it's going well. Like a few things are a little frustrating, but I think we're getting there. Okay. 2250-3720 using grouped. I'm still on line 114. So the problem is I'm trying to work out what the numbers it expects these to be are without necessarily having the full information of what it's trying to do. It will make sense at the end, but every time I do one of these, I kind of break, the numbers all interact. I need to figure out what the end step is going to be. Yeah, having someone else do all the code definitely helps. That is my favourite thing. Alariza, so the main constraint right now is me waiting on other people saying it's ready to release. So I can't give you a number of nodes specifically. More nodes definitely helps and definitely improves their confidence, but it's not my decision at the end of the day, or not my decision alone. Like, I want to release it, but they, it's kind of a discussion on what else they want to get into it. Okay, so we're down to, what's still? So it needs to be less than that. I've gone the wrong way, is what's saying. 7, 8. I wish this would be faster on each cycle. The testing, it's slow, just iterations, and we'll get there. I'm trying to. I think part of this also is 9 o'clock at night, but I do want to hit this on the head before I actually wrap up for the night. Hey, high tech, low life. Yeah. Great. Line 126. That's good. Because that means I've got the next thing I need to know, which is this number. Because secretly that's the number I've actually been needing all this time. And then that should be it. High Tech Low Life asks, when did you first get into Doge? 2013. So I came in like 2 weeks after launch. There was actually a massive crash in the Bitcoin price, and I was reading a Reddit comment that someone said, I hope so Bitcoin was very depressed and down. I saw someone on the Reddit, on the Bitcoin subreddit, saying, I hope Dogecoin never gets like this. And I was like, what's Dogecoin? So I googled it and found a Wikipedia article and said, oh, this looks kind of cool. And then a couple of months later, I was working on finding some portfolio work, and Dogecoin was sort of going through that bumpy launch period. So I jumped in to help out, and that was it. Thank you. Thank you for the top hat love, as it were. Okay, so why has that not done it? What? What? What is it all about now? Hang on. Oh. Yeah. I'm getting way too tired is the short version of this. So I've pasted the numbers into the wrong line, and that's what's upset it. So that works. Andrea says, how is your sport going? Is your coach okay with only doing half many pull-ups since you split your YouTube Twitch? I've been making up the pull-ups offline when no one's looking. I hate to admit it. But again, we're hoping YouTube picks up and we can get maybe some sort of alternative to how I do the pull-ups. Maybe we'll find some other way of motivating that. Oh, so High Tech Low Life said they probably gave me a tip with Tipbot back in our Dogecoin. Thanks, that's great. Yeah, I miss Tipbot. I'm sad that went really badly. Jared asks, is there any information on when the foundation will start to get vocal? I'm always hoping soon. The answer is as soon as we can say more, we will say more. Roasting says you look tired today. My eyes are annoyed by something. I don't know quite what. I have a thing where my eyes get grumpy anyway, but they're more grumpy than usual today. I think stepping away from the computer soon will be good for me. Okay, that's 167. Okay. Okay, that's a lot better. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to take these tire dyes. Oh, this is looking better than it was, but yeah, it's still looking quite bad. I'm going to take these tire dyes and I'm going to go get some rest. Because I think I'm just sort of, thrashing at the code more than actually fixing it right now. It looks like... So with the fees breaking, it looks like something's going wrong in the calculation. It's probably because we have a different address type. And therefore the transaction is ending up too big. I just need to revise that number down a little bit to get it to fit. But I need to be more careful. It's something to do when I'm a little bit more awake. This Sunday we'll be back on Twitch. I will have Stephen Steele joining us. It'll be a hangout stream. So looking forward to sort of chilling out, talking Doge. It's going to be good. That will be 7 p.m. UK, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on Sunday, which the day, I think it's the third. So look out for that on Twitch. I'll be back on YouTube next week. I'm gonna get some rest. I don't know what's up. Have fun and see you all later. Now, where's the actual stop button?